A Hornet pilot explains why an F-22 can't land on the carrier. Once again, using Quora.
I disagree.
Gonky, I got a question.
Yeah.
Didn't Thomas Cruise show us that anything's possible?
Yeah. He sure did.
Next article.
So the scenario is a U.S. Navy FA-18 pilot explains pilot out of gas with his ejection seat jammed and its canopy sealed shut. So perfect storm, I guess.
Things are not going well.
No, it was a bad day. Could never do an emergency landing on an aircraft carrier, and I skipped all the details about the Raptor. Nevertheless, despite its incredible capabilities, the F-22 could never do an emergency landing aboard an aircraft carrier, as Tim Hibbett's former U.S. Navy A-6 Intruder and FA-18 Hornet pilot explains on Quora, the Center for All Knowledge. Shogun, this is Hotshot 30. I'm an F-22 with 20 minutes of gas and 40 minutes from shore. My ejection seat has malfunctioned and my canopy is sealed shut. I can't eject and I can't get out of the plane if I ditch. I need immediate clearance to land on your deck. Can you rig the barricade? Over. Hotshot, this is Shogun Actual. Son, your country's real proud of you and we'll do everything we can, but you're going to die. Let's get the ugly facts out first. As awesome as they are at their jobs, Air Force pilots don't train to land on carriers. This is a skill that is underappreciated in the question. You can't wish yourself onto a carrier while smoking in over 100 knots, best case. Without at least a modicum of training, there's no way this pilot could even get close to safe parameters of a normal trap. A barricade landing is at least 5 times more complex and dangerous. You can't get there from here. While there are Air Force pilots who have cross-trained with the Navy and earned their carrier wings, they will be the first ones to tell you you can't just bring any old plane on board without training on that platform. It's not a directly transferable skill, especially when it's not designed to fly like that. Secondly, no carrier CO is going to risk massive damage to his flight deck, essentially a major component of his only offensive weapon system, by letting 45,000 pounds of nasty slam into it, so to speak. While they could likely generate enough wind to get the approach speed down to 100 knots, that's still far too much energy for the landing gear to absorb. While the F-22 probably has the specifications to be able to land in the netting ashore, those are systems where the aircraft lands and then it enters the gear a couple thousand feet later. In this instance, the jets have to slam down onto the deck immediately before the barricade. At the descent rates we're talking about, the gear would collapse, likely just piercing through the jet and damaging the integrity enough that it would start losing parts either before or as it entered the netting. The resulting conflagration could be catastrophic and would likely shut the carrier down for a significant period of time, though it would be interesting to see the damage the impact would have on the steel deck. If the deck was undamaged, we could likely see launches again in 12 to 24 hours. The crux is that no one has run this through the engineers and no sane commander would try it. Let's go to the part where Hibbett's concludes. The other problem would be the tremendous force on the pilot during the crash. Unless everything was done exactly correctly, the impact would simply rend soul from body. No fuss, no muss, no dramatic last quip. Landing on carriers is tougher than I thought.
I disagree.
Gonky, I got a question.
Yeah.
Didn't Thomas Cruise show us that anything's possible?
Yeah. He sure did.
Next article. But I mean, it broke when it hit, and they still made the barrier.
Well, you bring up a good point too. Like so you can't. So like the Hornets that we flew at 204, like we couldn't just take off and fly out to the boat and land on the ship. You have to carrierize even the Hornet. Right. Yeah. So shore base, 150 PSI on the tires, carrier 300. Right. There's all kinds of just like little things they do to carrierize the airplane. So I don't know that it's kind of a dumb article, but I'm very confident I could barricade an F-22.
Well, so let's go back to the premise. I am a traditionally trained Air Force pilot. I would not know how to make any of those radio calls. Like I wouldn't even know that's an option.
Good for you. Most of it is calm out.
No,
so there's no need to talk.
Like all that thing he said about, hey, can you guys rig the barrier? I wouldn't. No Raptor guy knows how to do that. No Raptor guy is going to call the boat. They're not even going to know how to find the boat.
No, I mean, if it was like World War III, like a scenario like this could play right. There's a great story like when when Vietnam was gone sideways for us. This, one of the Vietnamese took a Cessna 172. His family, his dog, he loaded in this thing and just took off. Went out over the water, flew over a carrier, dropped a note, said, "Please let me land." And I mean, there's a famous picture of him landing with his family and his dog on the carrier. And the airplane's in the museum now, so it is possible.
You landed a Strike Eagle on a carrier. I landed a Viper on a carrier. What do you mean in DCS? DCS is the realest thing in the history of all things.
No, but I mean, my point is the scenario could play out. I could land. I'm confident I could do it. Now, I think the airplane would be broken, very broken. but
you're not a Raptor pilot. You have to think of this from an Air Force guy's perspective. It didn't say could Gonky land an F-22. The Hornet pilot explains why you cannot.
Well, but you can. I think you can. I think you could barricade it. The plane would be dangerous, but I think it's possible. And I do look. If you tell them, look, I'm sure the F-22 has a really nice flight path marker, velocity vector, whatever. I just tell them, dude, put that thing right before the barricade and.
Only if Wombat is the LSO.
Yeah, Wombat would be like, nope, wave off. You're going for a swim.
We can't swim because the thing's a submarine. Canopy won't open. He dies.
You didn't gear up and on the beach, man. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Did you not listen to the scenario? It's too far from the beach. You can't get the canopy open. This is the only way to live.
Yeah, I mean, there's actually a sad story of an A4 guy who this kind of scenario played out for him, man. The hook broke, his seat didn't work, and he flamed out right next to the carrier. And, I had his plaque on the wall. I was reading when I was younger. But yeah, anyways.
Look, dude, if Dusty Cropopper can do
it. It's kind of, I'm not even sure why he wrote a thing about this, but it shouldn't be the F-22 can't land on a carrier, because anything can land on a carrier. It should be, can an F-22 operate on the carrier? And that is no, of course not.
I did it in a Viper.
Dude, it's a game, man. Canceled.
Okay, Gonky. Sure, whatever.
I don't know. Whatever.
Plot twist, kids. Don't get your information on Quora. And for you OFPs, stop answering stupid stuff on Quora.
I actually like it. It's entertaining. So
yeah,
I mean, we all have our opinions, man. It's a peanut gallery.
We got one more of those. So
no facts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Check it out.
I've actually never seen that video. That's pretty. No hook.
He's going to be learned.
Is there a hook?
There's something. Doesn't look like it's doing very well, though.
Well, dude, he probably has a ground speed of like 20 knots.
Isn't the wingspan a little wide to be doing this? Well, wouldn't it be hitting all the airplanes?
No other airplanes on the deck.
Where's the island?
So he's just doing a touch and go. Because there's no hook.
It seems to just keep repeating, too.
Mm.
Yeah, I hate when that happens, when you watch a video that's repeating a bunch of times and you never... Oh, look, he does land. Look, there he is.
Does he trap?
He does have a hook.
Yeah, look at that.
Wow. And there's an island.
Dang. I just keep learning stuff.
Dude, we are educating ourselves.
Yeah.
And the public.